You have 3 voicemails.
It's not all about the money, you still need money, but to me it's not about the money. To me, art, it's like you have to look at it and get certain emotions. It comes to my mind that, I have friends that I don't trust just because the way they support football.
Let's see, I'm going to Old Trafford next week, so I'm hoping to see Ronaldo, but see if he actually stays back and take photos or
Dude, if you do, please show him my painting.
Hello there.
Welcome to the show where we have the convos about Vietnam,
Hello there. Welcome to Convo Comrades, a conversation with the community about Vietnam. And we are now on our third and final episode with our golden guest, Huyme Productions. Give it up for Huyme Productions.
Claps.
Can I just say, guys, if you are confused and you need introductions, what the hell are you doing? Go back to episode 1 and episode 2 and have a listen. You know who our guest is. Huyme Productions, Thanh Pham, actor, YouTuber, and also part-time painter. And we're going to be talking about painting and art right now. No more introductions. Go back and listen and then come back to this episode. Let's go. So, art. What is art? How do you define?
Yeah.
No, that's
what is art?
That's a bit heavy. But how did you get into painting then?
I think painting I was kind of born into it because my dad is also a painter.
Okay.
And so I grew up. First thing I know is that in my house there are a lot of paintings on the walls, on the ground, stacks. Painting.
Is that clock behind you a painting, or is it a real clock?
It is a clock, and my dad likes to collect like old things.
Yeah.
And this is the outside of my room. So my bedroom is on the right, and this is like the living room on my floor. Mm-hmm. But it's actually, it has all of my dad's stuff. It's all in front, so I can't really show you guys, but yeah, anyways, I was born into a family with 3 painters. My dad is a painter, and my grandfather also paints a little on the side for fun, and my uncle is also a painter. So we have 3 painters in the family.
Yeah.
And I started drawing when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed drawing. So I think before becoming a YouTuber, I think drawing and painting was something that I identify myself with. So not really a part-time painter, but like an actual painter, right?
Yeah.
So I did my first painting when I was 5. I painted Tom in Tom Jerry.
Nice.
And don't know how to paint, just kind of put the colors in, and so I draw a lot, and that's like my escape, because I didn't really have a lot of toys, and our generation growing up, we didn't have phones, or we didn't really have other things to distract. So I draw a lot, and growing up, I think that was one of the skills that kind of made me stand out in the class, because my classmate known me best for being the art guy, right? The art kid. So that
Did they pay you? Did they pay you so that you could draw for them?
For class, sometimes I would. Sometimes I would work for other friends in my class, help them to finish their drawing, so that they get better grades, and I make a few thousand, on the side.
yeah. Make it rain.
But yeah, back. So that was my only thing, right? Growing up, and even in high school, when I had that decision to, I could have went to a film school if I was more determined about it.
Yeah.
But my family, they didn't really prevent me from going to film school, but they rather kind of persuade me that I followed the tradition since they were very convincing. You know, Asian parents, when they're not forcing you, they're also very persuasive.
Yeah.
So they kind of list out the pros and cons of being in the film industry. They're not going to be able to help you along the way, and like we don't know anyone, and you don't know anything about film, but you know a lot about drawing and painting. And so that led to my decision into Cleveland Institute of Art. And I got like a 40,000 scholarship, which is, it sounds nice, but it's actually still nothing since the tuition is pretty high. But I did get a scholarship for that school. You know, you work basically for art school is really different. You know, they don't really care so much about the SAT per se. You know, you only need. I needed a TOEFL of like 80 to get in, and I thought it was gonna be easy, but so I didn't really study. I didn't really study for it. But then on the day, I actually got 100 out of 120, without any freaking
preparation.
Yeah, preparation, because I went online and I did this free test, and I thought it was so easy. So I was like, man, I don't need this. And then actually on the day it was fucking difficult. Like,
Yeah.
and I was sweating because I thought that, you know, I'm gonna have to spend like $100 and like line up for another day.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but I ended up getting like 100 out of 120. I only needed 80, so
Yeah.
that was pretty good. That's pretty lucky. But anyway, yeah, that's how I went into art, and that's why I started painting.
That's great.
I kind of
normally-
got off track.
No. That's amazing, because normally you would hear stories of families talking to you about, you know, don't go into art, go into business, or, you know, become a doctor or lawyer. That's always the traditional, stereotypical Asian sort of family route, isn't it? But yours is slightly different. It's like, okay, don't go into film, but go into art.
Right.
So very fascinating. What makes a good artist? Educate us, okay? We, Long and I, we know nothing about art. I know how to draw cartoon characters. That's all I know. I'm pretty good at it. Long probably doesn't know how to draw anything. But
Stickman.
Ooh, Stickman. but what I'm trying to say is, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience now watching or listening, you know, what makes good art?
I don't think I can really define to you guys what makes good art, but from what I have seen, to be a good artist, then you have to have a certain kind of personality to express what you really think and really don't give a fuck about what other people think, because with social media, it's like you have to be careful sometimes, or you can be provocative, right? But with art, it's like it's totally different, because you can be provocative on a painting.
Yeah.
And I think as with any other professions, you need hard work. You need to have a certain kind of belief in yourself. Since, I mean, I feel like, you know, them getting me to go to art school, it's like, the thing about art student, it's like you're destined to fail.
What? That's sad.
Because
How so?
Because it's really statistically, right? Like, statistic. It's really hard to make it as an artist.
Yeah.
Like if you actually go the traditional route, right?
Route is American, don't worry.
Yeah. To be like a traditional painter, not many people actually makes it and like sells a painting for like $1 million, right? That's like, oh, you become a great artist, famous, your paintings are worth so much, but it's hard. And even for myself, like I never really know what the future holds. Like all I know is that I need to work harder. Like I need to paint more, and I've been painting, drawing all my life, and then it stops when I started messing with YouTube. So that kind of stunt the growth of an artist. So I would say I stopped painting and drawing for a good 3-4 years, and I only started getting it back in the past year or two. That's my
Hello, you right?
that's she's just that's my
she's one of the. Oh, okay. I
Bring-
thought she's one of
bringing
the
me-
art buyers.
the clothes, fresh clothes.
Okay,
Just
perfect.
wash them. Anyway, yeah. So even as art student, you know, we usually joke that we're all gonna fail. You know, we
Yeah.
go into an art school and then we come out with a degree and like a few $100,000 worth of debt,
Yeah.
and you pay it off
Yeah.
like selling paintings, and basically you sign up for a hard life.
Yeah.
And having known that, right, with that sort of, I know it's still jokes, but statistically, it's hard to be a successful artist. Do you ever thought, or are you thinking about a full-time artist, a full-time painter, yeah, a successful artist? Do you have dreams about that?
I've actually never had that dream. I think it only occurred to me recently that this is something that you could constantly improve without the help of other people. Because with film or with any other professions that requires collaborations, you have to. So you know, say if you want to be an actor, successful actor, you also, besides the fact that you have to be good, you also have to depend on the script writer, the director, the producer, and the audience, right? But on
Yes.
painting, I think the pandemic kind of taught me something, that this is something that you can just do by yourself, and you can improve faster just by yourself. You can lock yourself in a room and then you can just paint a lot, and then you get better at it, and then it's a good, to me, it's also like I'm gonna wait for the fucking clock to stop. For me, it's like a good way to meditate as well. Since sometimes I don't feel like I want to paint, but then when I actually do it, it kind of takes a lot of things off my mind.
Interesting.
Right.
There's a book that talks about flow state. I think the title of the book is Flow State, but it talks about, you know, whenever we do a certain hobby, a certain activity that really intrigues us, we're just captivated about it, and we're locked in a state of flow state where we don't think about anything else. It's just in the moment doing that thing. No worries, no future planning, nothing whatsoever. And a lot of
Right.
people who are really good at what they do, they achieve flow state really well. And they become really productive, and they're able to demonstrate a lot of results coming out of that. So I think when you say that, you know, you sitting in a room, you're just painting, right? I think you at that time you were achieving flow state in a sense. And it's very different, isn't it? The activity of art and painting compared to vlogging, where you talk. There's noise.
Right.
Of course, you're still by yourself, but there's noise. And then acting, of course, there's just tons of people around. Art is kind of like an oasis, an island, something that's very different.
Right. It's something that is very private, and you kind of dig deep into your inner self a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, it's like,
It sounds very artsy.
yeah, I don't know how to explain it right, but
Yeah.
it's something that is really and sometimes like art isn't really understood by the outsiders as well, because even myself, when I went to art school, sometimes we are considered like pretty pretentious, you know, people that do art and like know about the classics, and they can be a little bit pretentious. And so even when I was in school, I noticed that, but now I kind of get it from the outside world, like how they perceive, because some of the artists are really, they kind of have that about themselves as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Interesting. So, sorry,
yeah.
Lon, go ahead.
Yeah, I just gonna ask. So what is art to you? You know, what do you use it for? Since you said you don't have that dream about making it big as an artist, do you use
I
it
didn't have
as...
that before. I do kind of
Oh,
have
now
it
you
now.
have it.
Oh, you have it now. Okay.
Oh, okay. So now you practice art, you paint with that goal in mind.
I don't think that it's like the ultimate goal is to. Of course, it's like it's really nice to sell paintings since we're all like starving with COVID and stuff. But I really didn't believe it until I sold my first painting. You know, because I paint like so many paintings without it being sold, and so the first painting sold kind of gives me that little confident boost of like, this is actually, it's like, you know, the universe is helping you towards this goal. You know, you're heading in a good direction. It's not about money. I'm not saying that it's not all about the money. You know, you still need money, but to me, it's not about the money. To me, art, it's like you have to look at it and get certain emotions. Because sometimes in contemporary art, sometimes it can be like a branch on a canvas, and and to me, like, if it's not striking me like emotionally, or it doesn't give me any kind of feeling, it doesn't matter how you explain like how highly intelligent or whatever the meaning, how deep the meaning is. I don't care about that. Like, to me, art is like, it has to be visually striking.
Question. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and on that point, you know, there's that really famous piece of art that was sold recently, right, of a banana. Do you know about that? Of a banana stuck on the painting. It's literally just one banana on a white painting, and then there's a duct tape on top of it, and it's sold for millions and millions of. I can't remember now, but it was crazy. The valuation was nuts. I think it was from Banksy. Do you know Banksy?
Banksy?
Yeah, famous contemporary artist. I think he's in London or something. I'm not sure, but anyway, he has a lot of those.
I've definitely heard of his name. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of these like very weird contemporary arts. So it's sold for crazy, and it was all over the news, right? And then when you say it doesn't give you an emotion, but sometimes the emotion is that shit is weird. Like, you know, when I look at something, like a lot of the art that I see, okay, and especially if it's contemporary art or if it's abstract art, I look at it and I was like, I'm confused. I think that's an emotion, or you know, what the hell is going on here? So, what sort of emotion do you need to have, or do you yourself personally have, for you to feel like, oh, there is a connection here, there is something here, there is art here?
When I look at a painting, I usually find paintings are because I'm just gonna talk about paintings, since a lot of times you can see sculptures and installations as well.
Yeah.
And for me, it just, if it brings any certain kind of emotion, then it's intriguing. But if it doesn't, then I'm not interested. And my taste is not it's not the best taste. I'm not saying it's not the best taste, but it's like, it's not for everyone.
Yep.
Because I think every individual have different tastes.
Yep.
In a sense. So even in the art world, like even when I was in school, you know, sometimes my classmate would have a piece that I don't necessarily like, and they might not necessarily like my piece.
Yeah.
And I think on valuations on art, I have no clue. But I do know the fact that the board or the people that pays and evaluate it, if they like a certain artist, they're gonna make him successful.
Yeah.
And you can only it's there's really no bar or no way to evaluate yourself, you know.
No standards.
Yeah,
Got
no
you.
standards.
Got you. Interesting. Because I have a friend. She's Russian, and she's here in London as well, and she works in art valuation. And her company does a lot of art valuation. And I think there are certain dimensions and criteria you can look at. For example, you know, the past history of the artist, the time of the piece when it was released, the type of art that it was. You know, is it a painting or contemporary art? But I agree that sometimes it's, especially for up and coming new artists, right? It's very difficult to value how much this piece is. So going to your piece that was sold, how was that valued? Like, was it just you and the person talking and then negotiating like you're in the market, bargaining the price? Like, what was it like?
So for that particular painting, I never sold a painting before that.
Yeah.
And so I asked my dad for a valuation because he's an artist and he sells his paintings. And the person that buys it did not want me to make the price public.
Okay.
But it's a really good price for a first painting.
Yeah.
I would say when I heard the price, the recommended price, I was a little taken aback. You know, I thought, you know, maybe I should take it down because I don't want to lose the customer.
Yeah.
But then the guy here was to say the size of the painting, right? It plays a factor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like the bigger the painting, the more expensive it is, but
Yeah.
it kind of is in a way. And also the amount of work that you put in, you know.
Yeah.
If it were, it's a painting that I've worked in for a long time. Yeah, the person didn't want to make the price public, or else I would have said it because it's
You're probably all over
very
Instagram like $2 million, man.
No, not that much. nowhere near that. But
Yeah. Okay, so your father was the person who helped to value the art piece for you. And did he play a role in the negotiation as well? Was there a bit of back and forth, or this is the price, and then they take a bit of time to think about it, and then they come back and they pay for it?
It actually was. It happened like this. So she messaged me on my Facebook saying that she wants to buy that particular painting, but being myself, like really out of it on social media and message, I missed the message, and so she happens to know a friend of my dad, and so she actually messaged my dad saying that they want to come to the studio. And so they came to the studio. I talked to both of them, you know, the husband, the wife, and they wanted to buy the painting. And they told me to just think about the price and then message them. So I wait after dinner and I messaged them, and I was kind of, you know, hoping, kind of nervous. But then they said yes. So
Wow.
the rest is just like I had to ask my friend to help me bring it back from Saigon because the painting is in Saigon, so I had to bring it all the way back here, packed it, and so I'll say that it's in the thousands.
Nice.
But
No, that's great. That's great to
Yeah,
hear.
very good.
And it
Okay.
really, I guess, is a point in your art journey where you feel like, you know, there is some sort of validation, isn't it? You know, you've worked so hard, you've gone through the degree, you know, you've painted, you said how many times already. Your father is an artist as well, so there is some sort of pressure but then to achieve this sort of validation of someone wanting to pay that much amount of money for one piece, I think it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels amazing.
I would have felt good.
man.
Yeah. There you go.
Amazing.
And
So-
it helps a lot since you're not working during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing then. So walk us through how do you get something in your head like that, some sort of idea, and then you put it on a painting? What's the creative process like? Right? Because it's very different for certain artists. Some people are abstract artists. Their brain works differently. Some people are
Right.
contemporary artists. Some people do sculptures. But for you, I don't think you do abstract art, do you? Because I see Ronaldo and I recognize Ronaldo. So
Yeah, I don't think right now I'm formulating a particular style instead of the style right now is only in the brushstrokes, but I'm in the period when I'm bouncing off between different styles and different types of painting, since I'm only getting back into painting in like a year and a half.
yeah.
And so I've never painted abstract. I made one abstract painting in school by accident. We had this project of like use a photo reference and paint. So I picked a forest and I kind of painted really loosely.
Yeah.
And when my professor asked me like what type of painting I was painting, I told her it was a landscape. But she was like, "No, you know what you're painting? You're painting an abstract." And so
That's
and
a
so
very professional way of insulting someone, but okay.
Yeah, but it looks really nice, and I really like that painting. But then I left it in school when I moved back. So that's actually one of my favorite painting, and it's the only abstract painting I've ever done. Usually, I would consider myself more of a surrealist.
All right, educate us. What the hell is that?
So like a surrealist, it would be someone who paints like Dali, Salvatore Dali. The famous
No.
painting with the clock that is melting.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
so
wait,
that-
no, I don't.
No.
No.
Yeah, speaking of
It's
the
like
clock.
it's like a clock. It's like a round clock that is melting on the table.
Oh yeah. I think I do recall that. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So what's the creative process like then? How do you come up with an idea and then start to think about the composition, what you want, what sort of colors? How does it? Is it something that you can actually explain in words, or it just comes naturally to you?
You get the idea before you paint. You usually have a general idea of what you're gonna paint, but then you figure it out as you go. If that makes sense, like you work and then you see how it's going and you take it in different directions as you're working on it. Because I don't have I do have a finished painting in mind, but sometimes it turns out different.
I
You
see.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very
And
artistic.
inspiration just comes naturally. Sometimes you could be driving, listening to music, and then you see certain things on the road, and then it just hits you like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like something that you plan for a long time. Like you have an idea and you write it down, and then you add things to it, and then it's kind of like making a video in a sense. But then you don't make a video; you just paint it.
Right. Got you. I guess that's the common thing amongst, creatives, right? Or just creating something. Interesting. Now, does that valuation, does that deal in a way impact the way you think and the way you start to think about future art pieces now? Because, in a way, for example, you might be thinking, okay, that sold for that much. It seems like that's something that has demand. People are paying for it. Should I do something similar, or should I limit myself to this particular area of art so that I can sell future pieces? How does that affect you?
To me, like as I told you, it's not about the money. So I guess I could try and do paintings for money when I desperately need it, but I'm not trying to limit myself on painting certain things only because it sells. I think the most important thing is to have that kind of freedom to do whatever you want and to paint whatever you want, and then if it happens, it happens, right? I had this painting of me covering my childhood drawing, and I know that painting it's gonna, I don't think it's gonna sell, but I had to do it. So it's those kind of things.
I have.
If you have the urge to do it, you have to do it.
Yeah, I have a few basic questions. I should have asked way before.
Okay.
We're just like half an hour into the conversation about art, and now you're asking basic questions. But okay, go ahead.
So the question is, okay, I hear you guys say these words: contemporary, abstract, landscape, right? I want to break down, right? Let's break it down into structure. What are the different types of art? Painting style, let's call it that. And you
there are many different styles. I can list some of the styles off the top of my head. There are abstract painting, right? There's expressionism. There's surrealism. There are hyperrealism. Hyperrealism is like the style that it looks like a photo. You
Terrorism.
What the
hell? Contemporary, it's like what's happening right now.
It's like a photo,
right? It could be a photo, I guess, but it could also be a painting. It could be a sculpture. I don't think there's like a good way to define
the
a
different
particular
styles.
thing. Yeah.
And you are just trying all the different styles. Then you're experimenting.
I'm experimenting different styles in painting.
No, we're focusing mainly on painting. And my second question, as an art consumer, okay, is how can I absorb in art? Right, this sounds like a stupid question, but when I look at a painting, I struggle. I don't know what to do now. Step 1, look at the painting. Step 2, do what?
Do I look at the center? Do I look at the corner?
That's it. I don't know. And there's some sort of story next to the painting. Should I read that and then know the context and then go look back at the painting?
I think for going into museums, you could try and read the descriptions to get a little bit of context, but you don't really need it. For some paintings, it's like it's so obvious, but then for some that isn't as obvious, you don't even have to look at it for too long. It's actually your taste towards the painting, right? Like if it gives you an idea or a certain emotion, then it's like it's nice to you. Like we both can look at a painting, the same painting, and I could have a different opinion about it, and you can have a different opinion about it. But that doesn't mean that because I know more than you have to like this painting as I do. Right? So I think if you approach it that way, then it's easier to, because I think a lot of people that don't see a lot of art, I feel like they sometimes do get intimidated by the like the art people, like the art historians and stuff like that. Like even myself, when I was in school, I didn't really like people that base too much on history and all that stuff on other knowledges.
Yeah, I see. So the goal of it is to find an emotion when you
or
look
find
at a
something
painting, right?
that you think is enjoyable. If you don't like looking at a painting, then why look at it? Then you just don't like it. But then if you like a painting, you don't even need to understand why you liked it. You just know that you like it, right? Like say if you you come into a museum right now, there's like 7 different paintings. Then you know which one you like the best, and you don't even know why you like it the best, but you just like it. Maybe certain colors that it's like you're more attracted to, maybe certain composition, subject matter, you know.
Wow. Yeah, very insightful. No, last time I went to a museum, I saw people looking at a painting for so long, and I don't know what are they looking at. Should I be looking at them as well? Because what's the average duration should I spend per painting?
They say that on average you only get 7 seconds on each painting.
I see.
So like if you are an artist, know that the audience only look at your paintings for 7 seconds.
So, taking a step back, I'm just looking at your journey on YouTube, looking at your journey as an actor, and then your passion in painting, right? And then of course, you had an art degree as well in the US. What does your father think about this, and what does your mother think about this? Are they, I don't know, obviously, from a very traditional Asian perspective, have they always been supportive of your acting career, your YouTube life? Are they starting to support you more in your art? What's their desire?
At the beginning, they weren't very supportive of. They were okay with the YouTube, but they weren't really supportive of the filming thing. Really? Especially my dad. Like he wasn't really supportive until recently. So he always told me about like how being an actor is not what's his word, prestigious. Like it's not prestige to be like an actor in Vietnam, and he wasn't really supportive. But when the film comes out, I think he was pretty happy, asking people to take photos of the poster and all that stuff. But at this moment, he still thinks that, I should go back to painting. And he always told me that I'm going to go back to painting eventually. And I do understand that you really can't do 2 things at once.
Yeah.
I try to do that. I work on a film and I take a break, and then I paint and do YouTube on when I have all that time. But I guess to reach the top, you can only choose, I think 1 or 2. 2 would be too many already. So So I still don't know. Till this moment, I don't know.
Still on a journey of finding out.
Right.
Yeah. I feel the filming industry, acting industry gets a lot of hate from people. People think it's a bad thing, or not appropriate, or not prestige, like you said.
Right.
So maybe
they do. A lot of people do look down on showbiz in Vietnam, I think.
Yeah.
Not necessarily look down, but they think it's it's taboo and stuff.
Yeah, it must be because of that joke. Director, you need to sleep with the director.
Certain perceptions, aren't there, about the industry? Despite a lot of great steps that have been made over the past couple of years or so, great advancements in the sector, but there are always these sort of stories about people causing drama or commotion and all that stuff to get themselves into the eyes of the public. But okay, fascinating. And then you mentioned your upcoming movie has something to do with art. What's the link here?
Did I mention that? Did I say that it has something to do with art?
Yeah.
I don't think I've said it. I said it had to do something with an alien.
No. The alien movie I recall, and thank God they're choosing Vietnam. But what I'm saying is, I thought you said that there's another movie that's coming out that has something to do with art.
I don't think
I don't
said
remember
anything
that.
like
Okay.
No, he didn't say that.
There you go, guys. I'm a terrible podcast host. All right, let's move on. Okay, any other questions, Long, before we move on to the final topic of today?
Let me think.
A topic that's going to bring up the blood pressure. A topic that's going to cause a lot of anger, and there's going to be so many vulgarities coming out right now.
No more questions on art for me.
All right, let's move on then. The last topic. We all know that you are a Manchester United fan. You are a football fan, and you follow the club for, I don't know for how long now, but every time Man United play, you post on Instagram. And so do I, and so do many, many other heartbroken people.
Not me.
And this is the part of the podcast long where you can just log off or you can go for your toilet break. But yes, I'm a Man United fan. You're a Man United fan. First question is, okay, I just want a caveat to everyone listening here. We're not going to go deep into, Man United tactics, football tactics and all that stuff.
Right.
Because, we appreciate that there's quite a large audience listening in. And not everyone, is keen to know the ins and outs of football. But I guess the first question to you is, what does it mean to be a football fan in Vietnam? Because football, it seems like it's the national sport, isn't it?
Right.
It seems like people go crazy about football. And of course, to follow, one of the most successful or the biggest leagues in the world, the Premier League, what does it mean to be a football fan in Vietnam?
I think to be a football fan in Vietnam, it's the sport that everybody enjoy. The majority of the people enjoy. And I'm talking about even the national team. You see, whenever we win a big game, everybody goes crazy. And I think the reason for that is that we do love our country a lot, but we don't have an outlet to express it. And we have to express it through football. And it's a great way to express it, right?
Definitely.
And to be, and that's my take on it.
And club football. It seems like the club football industry or sector in Vietnam is improving, but of course the Premier League is a whole different level, right? What's the percentage of fans supporting Man United in Vietnam, do you think?
I think there are a lot, but also Manchester United also gets a lot of haters. We have the biggest fan base, but then we also get the biggest hater, the amount of hate we get is bigger than any other clubs.
As always, once, when you're the biggest club, at least in English football, there will always be haters as well. How did you become a Man United fan then? How did it all start?
It actually all started by accident, kind of. A lot of people, our generation, we hear about Manchester United growing up, but we just know the name. And for me, I think it all started, I liked playing football as a kid, but I don't watch it. And then I think one day, I think it was New Year, I went into my dad's friend's house, and his son was playing FIFA 2004. And now it's like a story from a film, because I don't remember his face, but I just remember him in the back, looking at him playing FIFA, and I thought that was the best game ever. And he was just like, "Hey kid, you want to play this game? I'll give you the CDs and just go back home and install it and you can play it." And he just gave it to me.
Wow.
And so I started playing FIFA 2004, and the first team on there to be chosen happens to be Manchester United, right? And I know of this team already. And so I started playing FIFA, and I started to learn all the players' names on the game, like Scholes, Van Nistelrooy, and Giggs, and all those people. And I remember their face on the game. And so I started watching them in real life to see if they actually look the same. Right? And so that's when I actually started watching football. A lot of Manchester United fans started watching in the Beckham era. But I started watching in the Rooney Ronaldo era. So that's when I started. I don't have a lot of memories with Beckham, but then I've been a supporter since. So since 2004, which is now, I'm gonna show that I'm really bad at math. Many years.
I'm gonna help you with that. 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, being a Man United fan, and one thing that I'm always puzzled about, because Long and I, we live in London, right? So the timing is perfect for us. But sometimes you guys wake up at like 3 a.m. in the morning just to catch a game, and that's insane.
Usually it's for Champions League. For Premier League, then like yesterday it was 6:30 p.m. So it's not that bad. But I actually don't like I don't like 6 p.m. Games.
Really? Why is that so?
I prefer 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock games. Yeah.
And how do people, they've got wives, they've got kids, they've got jobs, but they're spending, and of course Champions League, it's mostly Tuesday and Wednesday, isn't it?
Right.
They're staying up at 3 a.m. in the morning to catch a game, to be disappointed by this club. Like, why do they do it, do you think?
I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I stay up late anyways, so I usually can catch these games. For other people, I think I've known a couple of my friends that would go to bed early, like super early after dinner, and then wakes up to see the game and then go to work. That's dedication. Wow. And then for some people, if they decide to gamble and stuff, then it's like their job to wake up at those times. But I think for hardcore fans, of course you're gonna wake up for a game like that. And even when I was in school, I started watching when I was still in school, and so certain games are late, and my mom didn't allow me to watch it. So it was kind of hard at the beginning, and then sometimes I would just set alarms I used to do that too. Used to set alarm and stay up to watch games like that. I think it's just being a true fan.
Yeah.
My mom used to do that. My mom loved football, and she used to have alarms at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And I was like, hey, I want to sleep. And the TV is in the bedroom. Right? Like, what are you doing, Mom? I want to sleep. Tomorrow I have school. Like, no, that's fine. And so I never got into football because I hear that chant, like, and then I fell asleep because that's my bedtime.
It actually does help to sleep sometimes, because sometimes, like, if you're sleepy and you're watching a football game that is not really entertaining, you can fall asleep. I've fallen asleep on games before too. Not on Man United games, but on different teams. Yeah.
Interesting. And next question is, I'm having a blank here. Give me a second.
Wait, I want to ask a question.
Okay, you go ahead, and then I'll try to remember what my question was.
My question is, why do you keep supporting the team even if they lose, right? Even when they lose, and it could be just one game, but it could be a rows of games that they lose. Why do you?
Can I add to this question? I love this question because there's a meme out there, right? There's a saying out there: you can change your religion, you can change your wife, but no one changes their football club. And I think that's actually quite true, because I see people changing their religion when they get married. I see people getting divorced. But in terms of football clubs, I've never seen someone from an Arsenal fan to becoming a Man United fan, a Chelsea fan to becoming a Bayern Munich fan. Why?
Right. I have no idea. But then it comes to my mind that, I have friends that I don't trust just because the way they support football. There are people. Okay, there are people that would support a player. I have friends that would support a player. Doesn't matter whatever clubs he goes, they will support that player and that club, which is fine. But I have people who doesn't have a favorite club, but they always come in and say fucking trash talk you when your team loses, but you don't know who their favorite team is.
Yeah.
Those are the people I don't trust.
Right. I got you. Because like I posted on Facebook once about Man United. I'm just really mad about the whole structure and the business behind Man United, and just the management of the club. Because to me, when I see football nowadays, it moves away from the tactics. It moves away from just the 11 people playing with an 11 men, with one ball. It's how the club is run. It's the structure, the finances, the cost, the revenue. Because business and football are so interlinked now. So I made a post on Facebook about that, and there was this guy who came in and he just trash talked me, right? I was just like, oh, pity you, Man United fan. I asked him, like, who do you support? He said, no, I just hate Man United fans in general. And then I found out he's an Arsenal fan. And Arsenal is in such deep shit right now. So, yeah, I'm completely fine.
I want to laugh, but I feel bad.
There's this rivalry I can't explain it, but there's this passion and emotion when you support a club that it hurts your ego when the club loses, because other people are going in on you. They're going to go in on you and they're going to destroy you online, all right? Or face to face, whatever. But when you win in Vietnam, you call it you gai, right? I don't know what the English word is. You make chicken sounds. Right? But essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to boast to the world that, look, my club is the best in the world. And it's a cycle, because if you keep on boasting, then you don't get that satisfaction enough. Sometimes you need to lose, and then once you win again, then there's that satisfaction again. And that's football. Yeah. It's very annoying.
Yeah. Because I loved football once, okay? And it was very weird. Let me share my story, okay? He knows the story. I loved football once. When I was small, I remember 2002, and the football team I loved was Brazil. I don't know why. Maybe the colors were very bright. Okay, but the way they played, it was beautiful. Ronaldinho time. It's just mesmerizing. So I was in love with them. But when they lost, I was devastated. I cried. And then I said, okay, let's watch the next game. And then they lost again. And then I said, why do I keep watching this? To be heartbroken like this. So I decided to stop watching altogether. I won't support anyone because I'm afraid of this sort of sadness. Yeah.
And I admire people in Vietnam like you. You guys wake up really early in the morning to catch a game, and the probability of Man United doing well these days is not high, even with Ronaldo coming in. It's not a high probability, and no. There's a lot of admiration from our end.
Lots of commitment.
Yeah, but to me, I think it says something about character as well, the way you support, right? It's like if you support a team when it's like at its worst, then you have all the rights to say all the things you want when it's winning.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point that you were saying before. I just hate people that are unsure about what team, or the bandwagons. It's like, it's like 1 minute, Barcelona was like the hottest team in the world, and then they say that, I don't support any team, but then when they play FIFA against you, they pick Barcelona.
Yeah.
And then you enjoy beating them with Manchester United, right?
Yeah.
But then a couple years later, it's like they started playing Man City.
Yeah.
And then they still won't admit that it's their favorite team,
Yeah.
They just wait for that team to not be the strongest so they can be on a different team. So
got you. So you like someone who has a stance, a clear view of who you support, stick with them whether it's low or high, right?
Right. I have people that I know, like secretly doesn't like Ronaldo. And not even secretly, because he kind of shows it, He likes Messi, and it's like different tastes. I'm not gonna talk about like who's better, Ronaldo or Messi. I'm not gonna. I'm not even gonna go there, right?
Yeah. Ronaldinho is the best.
No, Ronaldinho.
But this guy, when Messi won the 6th Ballon d'Or, he was like, oh, Messi was so great, like. Ronaldo is never going to catch up. And then the same guy right now is posting about Ronaldo. saying he's the best. He's like the Manchester United savior, and I've seen people like that, and I don't like it. It's just it's just football, but I think it does say a little bit about personality.
Yeah, personality and character, isn't it?
So it's a small thing, but it's something that I notice, so I don't like that. Personally, I don't like it.
Interesting. Okay. And how does a club, like all these English clubs, right? They started off as local clubs in their own little city, like back then in Manchester, working class people, in the weekend, they probably pay cash to come into the stadium and just to support their club. Now it's grown up to be this, it's developed into this giant conglomerate of a business, a brand, a global phenomenon, right? How do these clubs connect with people all the way in the Far East, like countries like Vietnam? Like, you've never met the players. Some people, most fans in Vietnam have never watched them live.
Right. Even myself.
Don't speak the same language, right? There's so much disconnect in terms of just characters, features, all of these things. But what intrigues me is how the Vietnamese people, like, they're just crazy about football clubs like Chelsea, like Arsenal, like Man United. How do they do it?
I think I really don't know why or how, but I think one of the factor also has to be with color.
Wait, what? Are you putting a racist joke? Or?
No.
Team
No,
color, yellow.
The color red and yellow
Oh, right. Okay, got you.
of Manchester United.
Right. Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the majority of people, when you look at a team's logo, it already, if you know nothing about football, and then if you're like a kid, right, and you see the logo, it's already some sort of attraction
Right.
on you. It's like the
I agree.
impressions, right?
Interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, that's the only way I can think of when it comes to why there are so many Manchester United fans in Vietnam than any other clubs. I'm not talking about the football. Obviously they have to be good. Obviously they have to be famous, but with traditions. I think the reason is also the color and the traditions, because they've been really famous in the past, and we like traditions, right?
Yeah. We
Isn't
sorry.
I was gonna say, isn't Arsenal also red?
Yeah, but it's red and white.
I see.
Man United is red and
Purely
yellow,
red.
and our flag is red and yellow.
Yeah. That's a very interesting observation. I've never thought of it that way, but
Right? It's just my thought. I don't know if it's accurate, but I think it's like subconsciously we like that.
Yeah. And the way I see certain sort of football pages on Facebook, when they talk about certain players, right, and they translate it into Vietnamese, and then when people jump into the debate, I see that people genuinely feel like they know these players. Like, Solskjaer said this, but then, Post goes and Rio Ferdinand on BT Sport, they said this, and their comments are like this, and it just fascinates me, because as someone who consumes football in the English language, and I live in the UK, I can feel that connection, right? And I've been to Old Trafford a couple of times as well.
Right.
So I've been
seen
there.
your pictures.
Yeah. No, I took photo with Pogba and all that stuff. So I'm very lucky. But yeah, I have that sort of connection. With the club.
How did you manage to do that? I really want to know.
Okay, scrap.
So how did you get that
the question? This is my podcast now. No, but it's actually really easy, mate. Like, if you come over to the UK, you can get one yourself. So what happens is, after a game, there's a tunnel for the players to walk out and leave, and they go to the car park, and they go and get into their cars, right? And then they leave. If it's a Premier League game, it's like 12 or 3 p.m. in the UK time, and that's when there's a lot of fans. So normally you wouldn't get players lingering back and then taking photos and signing stuff, right? But if it's like a Champions League game, it ends at 8 p. It starts at 8 p.m. and it ends at 10 p.m. then the players will probably stay inside and get a good scolding from the manager. You play shit, you're crap, stuff like that for like around an hour to an hour and a half, and then they go and they shower, and probably Lingard and Pogba dances in the dressing room for a bit. After they dance, then it's around 12:30, right? Around 12:30, you can imagine not many people, and that's during the weekday, right? Normally it's Tuesday or Wednesday. 12:30 a.m. You don't get a lot of people staying back. You probably get around 100 fans or so, right, staying back. And that's when the players are more receptive and they're more open to go through each one of the fans and sign and take photos. And to be honest, I think when you're a celebrity in Vietnam, I get a feeling that you tend to be a bit, what's the word, chang, right? Arrogant, a bit self-centered, like, oh, I need to keep my distance from the mass. I want to make sure that I look good. But footballers, I don't sense that. Footballers in the UK, because I think the culture is very different. The culture in the UK, when you're looking at like public figures or celebrities, you don't idolize them like K-pop or in Vietnam. You don't worship them. You recognize them for their talent and for their skill, but you can.
But
easily
they have respects and boundaries, right?
Exactly.
Within the people.
Exactly. And it's not like you worshipping a god. For example, K-pop is the extreme men. Like those people are gods, right? But footballers, I don't think they're that, unless maybe Ronaldo. Let's see. I'm going to Old Trafford next week.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm watching Villarreal at the Champions League, so I'm hoping to see Ronaldo, but see if he actually stays back and take photos or
Dude, if you do, please show him my painting.
The valuation is gonna go way up. No, but I'm super excited. Yeah.
You gotta do it for me. You gotta do it for me. I did 3 episodes today. You gotta do that
one. I was like, hey Ronaldo, look at this.
Look at this painting. Look at this painting.
Oh no, but it's hilarious. No, but you get certain players, for example, if they have a bad game or something, right? They're just gonna walk off. They're just gonna say hi in the distance, and they don't come to you, and they're just gonna walk off. But players like Mata, for example, he's known to be a very nice person. So he'll go, I think, every single day and come and take photos and autographs. And Pogba on that day, he was super nice as well. So got photos with Pogba. So anyway, not my podcast, going back to you. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. So any concluding questions or comments, Long, in terms of Man United and football in general?
No.
Not really. I've never been to the Old Trafford, and that's one of my goals is also I've never been to the UK.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad, he's not a Manchester United fan, but he's been there. He's been at the Old Trafford watching Ronaldo in the Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney era.
Oh my God, what an era.
Yeah.
What an era.
Yeah, and he was basically taking photos for me, knowing that I like Man United. But
that's great.
I've never been, and that's definitely it's one of the has to.
One of your bucket list items, isn't it?
Bucket list, yes.
Yeah. Well, you gotta sell more paintings then to fund the trip to the UK and then to go to Manchester United and Old Trafford. Sounds great. Shall we end off with the 2 questions then, Long?
Yes, let's end up with the 2 signature questions on our golden guest. Okay? So the first question is, if you could go back in time and tell your younger self one sentence, when would you go back and what would you tell yourself?
I would go back to the very beginning when I started to film and tell myself to trust my instincts, my gut, and don't stop YouTube.
Wow.
2 things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
And
mean
to
by
keep-
trusting your instincts then?
Basically to be more confident, like trusting yourself and trust yourself to act that way on a film set, like to act like you think rather than waiting for signals and cues or waiting for like I would act and wait for validations whether I should be confident and do what I believe is true, and then if they don't like it, they can change it. But I should have known that, back then.
Right. Okay.
And our second question is, who would you recommend to be a guest on our Convo Comrades show?
I could recommend.
Don't recommend a Liverpool fan. That's all.
I would recommend. Actually, no one comes to my mind at this point. I could recommend Ham Chen, the director, a big one.
Wow, that'll be very interesting. Yeah.
Or JV, which I don't know if he's gonna be available because I haven't really talked to him lately. I think the last time I talked to him was like a couple weeks ago. It's just about this game that I played that he recommended one time.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
two people that comes to my mind: Ham Chen, director, and JV.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you.
That's amazing. Well, I hope you enjoyed the podcast in any way. We certainly did. It was very entertaining.
Definitely.
You spending 3 hours of your day to talk to us about everything in the world. Really appreciate it. Do you have any concluding remarks? Anything to our listeners at all?
I think I've said everything, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the time. But I think I've said everything already.
Yeah, it was like 3 hours, wasn't it? So guys, go back and listen to all of it if you haven't. But it was really, really fun talking to you, man. And of course, it's been such a long time. We of course, we added each other ages ago. We've spoken to each other in real life. But, when I left for the UK, we haven't really had that chance to speak and connect. But I think this is a great opportunity to sort of reconnect and have these conversations once again and to catch up on life. Perfect.
Very nice.
Tang, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Long, do we need to end it off in a formal way? No, guys, just follow us on all social media, all platforms. And be on the lookout. The next podcast episode will be topical 2, which means it's Long and I talking about random topics. There you go. As for now, bye-bye.